We saw on Twitter, on social media, Kenny, your trip from Los Angeles. So somebody gave up their seat to you so you could get on the flight from Los Angeles to Cleveland? Is that what happened, Kenny?
Yeah, it was exactly that. It wasn't, but I think the media made it bigger. But, I mean, it was pretty big because I was supposed to be, when the Indians first did my flight arrangement, they tried to get me on that flight, but it was completely sold out. Mm-hmm. So they tried to get me into a flight from another city. I said, well, try maybe Chicago or something where, I can just get somewhere. And so they ended up getting me a flight going into Chicago, then Chicago, Cleveland. So I'm like, fine. I went to the airport, found out my flight was going to leave probably at 2:30. It was supposed to leave at 11. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to leave after it got delayed. It was going to leave like at 2:50, almost 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, oh, geez. And then they said, when you get to Chicago, there's no flights in Chicago because they're all completely sold out going into Cleveland. Because, again, everybody's going to Cleveland, the Cleveland fans from the Cavs and the Indians, everybody's trying to get to Cleveland. So I couldn't get a flight. And they said, well, we can try Houston, but there's no guarantee. You're going to have to be on standby. I'm like, oh, man. He said, we said, maybe you get standby, you can get to Cleveland. Maybe you get standby, you get to Columbus. No guarantee. I'm like, oh, shoot. So I was at the airport, so I was rushing to get to the airport to try to catch the other flight, and the gates were kind of next to each other, but I didn't know that. And my mind was saying, okay, get to the airport, get to the gate. So I was running to the gate, and I looked up in front of me, and I saw Cleveland. That's the word. I just saw Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what, boom, let me just get the line. I said, I got my first class ticket, get in the line, blah, blah, blah. I got to the line, and they put my ticket down. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to Cleveland. I'm going to Houston to get to Cleveland. So, and all of a sudden, the people with families and people in the line, they said, Kenny Lofton, how you doing? Do you want a good picture? I'm like, yeah. My ticket didn't work. I'm like, oh, shoot. I said, you know what? I'm not on this flight. I got to get to another flight to try to get to Cleveland from another flight. And people trying to get autographs and taking pictures. I'm like, I got to go. I got to go try to catch this other flight. I'm not on this flight. I'm not on this flight. So one guy said, hey, man, I'll give you my flight. I'm like, yeah, whatever. He said, yes, I will give you my seat on this plane. He said, I don't have to be at work. I'll be on the, I can, what? Just here, take my ticket. I said, we just can't do that. And they said, we'll go up to the desk, talk to the lady, and see if she'll. And she said, well, I don't know. And everybody's like, come on, let them do it. Fans, people go, come on. It was a big old thing. And then she said, well, I said, sir, I'll pay you. He said, no, I don't. I said, come on, man. He said, no, I'm a big Indians fan. Have season tickets and lifelong Indians fan. You can take my seat. So that's kind of how I got to that point.
Unbelievable, Kenny.
Yeah.
And yeah, we see the pic, radio audience, and for your purposes, we see the selfie you took with this fella named Ken who gave you a seat. Well, was it a good seat? Was it a middle seat? Where was the seat, Kenny? Did it matter?
It wasn't my normal seat. so I'll just say it that way. But
it was a direct flight. You got there.
Yeah, it was a direct flight. And the good thing about the people that were sitting next to me, they wasn't the size of a sumo wrestler. So it was good. So it was roomy. I wasn't, one guy was a little small guy. He was like up against the wall, so he was kind of asleep. And the other lady had her headphones on, and she was smaller on the other side. So I had a wide area in the middle. So I was good.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.